after breaking down Alabama's hiring of Pete Golding as its 10th position coach upon him getting activated to the staff on January 9th, we have returned from the break on In My Own Words, the podcast. Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine live here with you. I intend on getting out the 5 critical players, the top 5 most critical players for Alabama in terms of the college football playoff semifinal game against Clemson. I'm anticipating getting that podcast out to you guys this week, or more than likely early next week, and then also my top 4 pass rushers in terms of the playoff as well. But today, on this edition, where this audio is concerned for the podcast, I'm looking at 3 reasons, or I'm throwing out 3 reasons as to why Alabama will win a national championship with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. 3 reasons why Alabama, Crimson Tide, will win a national championship with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. I've gone through social media. I've gone through my sessions of sports talk radio, live TV, with national media pundits. I've sifted through ideas of Alabama fans, the ones that, say diehard Bama, seeing with the Bama glasses on, rocking that crimson and white to the death of you. I've gone through a lot of things. I've sifted through a lot of things in the past couple of days, weeks, if you want to put it that way. And the main gist that I have gotten is, can Jalen Hurts really be the guy to take the top off a defense throwing-wise? Or can Jalen Hurts really be the guy that can put the team on his back? Or can he really be the guy that can pull the team and get us to a national championship? Because, a lot of Bama fans, they look at, Greg McGarrow was the guy that pulled the team. He got Bama a championship. A.J. McCarron was a guy that pulled the team. He got Bama a national championship. Jacob Coker was a guy that pulled the team. He got Alabama a championship. But is Jalen Hurts that caliber of a player? Is Jalen Hurts that caliber of a leader that he can pull a team that when all else fails, we can look at number 2 and say, win us the football game? Can he really, win Alabama the football game? I'm going to throw out 3 reasons. I'm going to go inside 3 reasons as to why Alabama wins a national championship with Jalen Hurts. And reason number 1, it's the second time around. Jalen Hurts has experience, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Hurts has experience. It's the second time around. And whether you choose to believe it or not, he is the most experienced quarterback of the 4 in the college football playoff when you talk Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Georgia. For Jake Fromm and Kelly Bryant, this is their first rodeo. This is their first endeavor. They will probably be the 2 that have their cell phones out, taking Instagram selfies and Snapchat videos, just embracing the moment because they're just so happy to be there. They more than likely will be the 2 that will be taking videos saying, hey, mama, blessed up, we made it. Because they're inside the college football playoff. Jake Fromm has been a very efficient true freshman. 21 touchdowns on the year to just 5 picks. He's gotten the Bulldogs to a Southeastern Conference championship, the number 2 overall seed in the college football playoff, but this is his first rodeo. He has not had, his first real freshman game where all heck breaks loose. I mean, yeah, he had struggles against Auburn in the first meeting of the South's deepest old rivalry, the 40-17 beatdown in Jordan Hare, but he has not had that freshman game where he's at 2 or 3 picks and every time you turn around something catastrophic happens. Jake Fromm hasn't had that game. And in the college football playoff, where all eyes are on you, you are on the biggest stage in terms of college football. That's a lot to take in. And then you look at Kelly Bryant, of whom was in this situation a year ago, but was there as a spectator. All eyes were on Deshaun Watson. Everybody was focused on Deshaun Watson. The cameras were on Deshaun Watson. Watson was the one in the moment, not Kelly Bryant. Bryant was on the bench. It's just like there's a big difference between somebody that's instigating the fight and the brother actually fighting. The one that's instigating the fight, it's all yap, 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 talk, 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 talk. The one that's fighting, he's taking punch after punch after kick, and he's kicking, punching, and you're either wondering, do I continue on with this fight or do I back away from it? The one in the fight is actually doing the work and actually in the mindset of the fight versus the one that's instigating, trying to create all the noise. There's a big difference between being in an actual playoff game with you being the guy. Everybody looks at you versus you're on the sideline and Joe Blow over here is actually the guy in there going through all the situations, going through all the motions and what have you. For Baker Mayfield of Oklahoma, he's been in the college football playoff before, 2015, 2016, his first time, but got bounced in the semifinal round after losing 37-17 to Clemson. Deshaun Watson, there's that name again. Baker Mayfield got trounced by him. Jalen Hurts, the only quarterback of the four that's been in not just the semifinal game, but also a national championship game. And even though it did not pan out the first time around, like he would have liked it to, Jalen Hurts did exactly what Nick Saban has been preaching about for 11 years. Keep the team in position to win a football game. Don't lose the game, but keep Alabama in position to win. And he had two critical plays in that game. Touchdown pass to O.J. Howard to give Alabama a 2-touchdown lead. Bama was up by 10, 24-14. I don't understand why the defense just could not stop Clemson after Jalen Hurts threw the touchdown to O.J. Howard. Couldn't do it. But Bama was up 24-14 after the Jalen Hurts pass to Howard. And then, score was 28-24 Clemson. Late in the fourth quarter, there's a drive by Jalen Hurts. You know the one I'm talking about. The one that ends on a 30-yard touchdown run in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, back on January the 9th of this year. And everybody's freaking out because you're like, oh, smoke. This 18-year-old kid just put the ball in the end zone. This 18-year-old kid is about to upstage Deshaun Watson. This 18-year-old kid is about to make Dabo Swinney cry. This 18-year-old kid is about to be the first true freshman since Jamel Hungaway, 1985 Oklahoma Sooner edition, being the first freshman to take his team to a national championship and win it. That was the vibe. That was the feeling that was going on prior to Deshaun Watson leading Clemson on the game-winning touchdown to win the championship, in which Jalen Hurts does not play defense. He's just hopelessly sitting there watching. I've heard all the talk about, well, that year was defense. That was defense, 2016. We had dogs on defense. We had all these big-time players on defense. That was all defense. That wasn't Jalen. That was nothing but defense. And I get it. Defense had dogs on it. You had Jonathan Allen. You had Tim Williams. You had Reuben Foster. You had Ryan Anderson. You had Dalvin Tomlinson, Eddie Jackson, Ronnie Harrison, Anthony Averett, Minka Fitzpatrick. You had all those guys. But at the same time, those dogs needed Jalen Hurts. There were moments in the season last year those dogs struggled, and they needed Jalen Hurts. I go back to, did those dogs score the only touchdown of the game between Alabama and LSU in Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to help the Crimson Tide win 10-0. I think not. That was Jalen Hurts. 21-yard rushing touchdown. 20 carries, $114, and that score. The Dogs on defense kick off the come-from-behind victory between Alabama and Ole Miss at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium in Oxford. No, that was Jalen Hurts. Ole Miss was up 24-3. Hugh Freeze giggling like a little schoolgirl. Hugh Freeze no longer with the Rebels now, but was with them at that point, giggling like a little schoolgirl because he believes, I got Alabama again. 3rd year in a row. I'm about to beat the brakes off Nick Saban again for a 3rd straight year. And what happened? Jalen Hurts steps up after he gets hit to the ground, fumbles the football. John Youngblood scores it for a touchdown. Jalen Hurts gets back up, shakes it off, leads an 8-play, 50-yard drive that ends up on a touchdown by Calvin Ridley to make the score 24-10. You don't get the Jonathan Allen 75-yard fumble return touchdown. You don't get the Ryan Anderson strip sack of Chad Kelly recovered by Deron Payne for a touchdown. You don't get the Eddie Jackson 85-yard punt return touchdown until first the Jalen Hurts drive happens. Jalen Hurts kicked that off. I've already brought up the Clemson thing, so I'm not going to reiterate that. But this year, Mississippi State, a game in which those Dogs on defense couldn't even get a push to knock Mississippi State's offensive line off the football. An average running back like Aris Williams had a field day. I believe he had 98 yards rushing. And then Nick Fitzgerald was having his way running the football and throwing it quite a bit. And if it wasn't for guess who, Jalen Hurts, final play of the game, or drive of the game, 3 passes, 3 out of 4 passing for 72 yards, including a 26-yard touchdown strike to Devonta Smith to make the score 31-24 in favor of the Tide. Who knows what could have happened in Starkville, Davis-Wade Stadium. Those Bulldogs were hungry. They played like they deserved to win that game, and sure enough, they did deserve it. Defense was not there. Jalen Hurts, 9 times out of 10, when you need a big play, that man is going to make the play. That man is going to find a way to get something done. And even if it turns out poorly or not the way Bama fans would have expected to be, this young man, he takes the good, he learns from the bad, and the second time around, he makes something happen. Jalen Hurts, the most experienced quarterback in these playoffs. Staying on that note, you look at Super Bowls for a minute. You look at the National Football League playoffs and Super Bowls. Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints. What do all of these quarterbacks have in common? They've all been there, done that. They've been in the playoffs. They've been in Super Bowls. They know how to lead their team. Their teammates trust them. These guys know how to prepare physically, mentally, game prep-wise. This is second nature for them. This is like eating breakfast cereal to them. They know what to do when it comes down to getting into the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. And even if things don't pan out the first time, once again, they take the bad, they take the good, they learn from the bad, and they channel it into the next time around because they know there's going to be a next time around. It's the same deal in marriages, courtships, friendships, business partners, all of that. First time around, it's tough. It's a struggle. Can get bumpy. You don't want a marriage going sour. You don't want a relationship, courtship going sour. You don't want a business partnership, a friendship going sour. But in the case that it does, it sucks. You hate it, especially for marriages and friendships and courtships that go sour. You're sitting here hopefully not playing Drake songs because that kind of puts you in almost a suicidal mood, but it happens. So what do? You don't sit there, cry, moan, weep, pout around the rest of the year. No, you take the good, you learn from the bad, and the second time it comes around, because it will. Ladies, you meet a fine man. Oh, okay. Guys, you meet a dime piece girl. Okay. Second time around, you're going to know what to do, because you have learned from the first time this has happened. Even in partnerships, businesses, you've learned from the first time it happened. For people, high schoolers going to college that are taking the ACT, SAT. Some people can't do standardized tests. I'm one of those guys. My palms get sweaty. I start freaking out. I almost want to pass out because I got to make a 36. I got to make a 33. I got to bust a 28. I got to make a 1,500 on the SAT. I don't want my parents paying for nothing. You got all of this stuff floating around in your brain. You can't think straight. And then you take the ACT or SAT without studying. First time around, you go in cold, you make an 18. You're not happy about it. Of course you're not happy about it. But what do? You start taking those ACT classes seriously. You start taking that SAT prep work more seriously. You crack open that book. You learn some stuff. You get you a good night's sleep the second time around, 8 hours or whatever the requirement is. You wake up the next morning, get you a hearty breakfast, which for some may be a nice bowl of maple brown cinnamon sugar oatmeal, but you eat that. You pop your little piece of gum in your mouth, and you go attack it. You go out there, you attack it, you do better the next time. Second time around for Jalen Hurts. Experienced. He is going to know what to do. Remember Deshaun Watson again. Watson, first time around in the college football playoff championship game, 2016 against Alabama. Played one heck of a football game and lost. Took an onside kick, a 95-yard kick return from Kenyon Drake. And who wants to cover O.J. Howard? Nobody. To beat Deshaun Watson, 45-40. What did he do? Took the good, learned from the bad, come back again, plays out of his mind again, and this time around, second time around, with that experience, won the national championship. Now moving on to number two. The number two reason why Jalen Hurts will win a championship, national championship, as the Alabama quarterback this season, Brent Key and Brian Dable will have him very much so prepared. Brent Key and Brian Dable will make sure their respective jobs put Jalen in the best position to win. Brent Key, offensive line coach, Brian Dable, offensive coordinator. For Brent Key, it's having that offensive line intact. You are going up against a stout defensive front in Clemson with Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, and linebacker Kendall Joseph, Dorian O'Daniel. Have that offensive line in order. Make sure you are giving Jalen Hurts ample amount of time to sort through the reads, step up, throw the football. Because I don't care what type of quarterback you got back there. If by a palm of a snap of the ball, he's already got 5 guys in his face gunning at him, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Offensive line, got to give this man ample amount of time. I remember Nick Saban mentioning in Wednesday's presser that the passing game, they want to get more players involved. They want to get more players touches. But it starts off with everybody being cohesive. Jalen has his part. Yes, he does. Jalen has his part. But also the offensive line, pass protection, running backs, being in there, being able to take on a blitzing linebacker, blitzing defensive end, blitzing defensive back, what have you. Wide receivers running the right route, working back to the quarterback. All of these things have to be in sync. For Brian Daboll, it's about putting Hurts in situations where he can attack. Daboll has had a solid year this year. No slight to him, no disrespect to him. He's had a solid year this year. But you have to put Jalen Hurts in situations where he can attack. I go back to the 2012 BCS National Championship game off the 2011 season for just a moment. A.J. McCarron against LSU, 23 for 34 passing for 234 yards, the offensive MVP. You want to know why he was the offensive MVP? Look at Jim McElwain. Jim McElwain devised a scheme, put together a game plan that got A.J. McCarron on the attack early and often, and LSU was not expecting it. Jim McElwain, not a game film, studied how, okay, LSU more prepared for the run, let's throw the ball on first down. LSU more prepared for the run, let's give some 5-yard dump-offs in the flat. 5-yard little out routes to Brad Smelly. Working little 6-yard drag and in post routes. And then from the short stuff, then you stretch it out there because you're building McCarron's confidence. Start with the small stuff, then you stretch it out there. Jim McElwain putting McCarron on the attack early. That's what Brian Daboll has to do for Hurts. Put him on the attack when you see that situation. Either that or you see the run game working, you run the football, you establish that ground game, and then mix in some passes, little short passes to get Jalen going, and then stretch it. All about putting Jalen on the attack or getting him settled in, putting him in the best situations to be effective. Brian Daboll from a play call standpoint, the same from Brent Key from an offensive line standpoint. The number 3 reason why Alabama will win a national championship with Jalen Hurts this season, timing is everything, y'all. Timing is everything. In fact, timing is so important, there is a chapter in the Bible dedicated to it. I'm not trying to give you a lesson in theology, but timing is so important that there is a chapter in the Bible dedicated to it. Ecclesiastes 3. And I'm going to paraphrase it here, and every time, everything has its own time. Everything has its own time, has its own season, has its own placement. It's basically what Ecclesiastes 3 is saying. And a lot of people like to make comparisons, which, okay, but if you're going to make a comparison, be sure to have every marquee component in your detail. I don't care how small it is, how minute it is, how insignificant it is. Make sure if you're making a comparison, you're putting every piece of marquee detail in that comparison. Case in point, everybody brings up Greg McElroy has a championship. A.J. McCarron won championships. Jacob Coker had a championship. And that's true. But all 3 of those guys had something else that Jalen Hurts did not have. All 3 of those guys had at least 1 year to sit, crack open the playbook, and learn that offense. All 3 of those guys were not the immediate guy the moment they came on campus. All 3 of those guys had somebody else in front of them that was the starting quarterback. They were able to sit, read, learn, study. They could have lollygagged around if they wanted to. Probably didn't, but they had the opportunity to lollygag around because they knew, I'm not the guy. I don't have to be the guy. It's not my time. Somebody else is already in front of me. Case in point, if John Parker Wilson threw a pick in a game, Greg McElroy is on the sideline going, oh man, he just threw a pick. Let me write that down. Saban blasting him out. Let me write this down just to make sure when my time comes, I don't throw no pick. Ooh, I feel sorry for you, JPW. Coach Saban whipping your booty alive. He ain't doing me like that. Why? Because I'm the backup. I'm not the guy. Same thing when A.J. McCarron saw Greg McElroy have some mistakes. A.J. like, woo, thank God I ain't you, bruh. I'm on the bench. It ain't my time yet. I get to wait behind you. I'm going to write this down next time when it's my moment and I have a chance to go out there. I'm not going to throw this pick because I'm seeing Saban getting in your butt. I ain't going to have them problems. Even the same thing for Jake Coker. Even though Coker got a chance to play some, year one, he was not the starter. Blake Sims was. So Coker's thinking, man, Blake in that Auburn game, boy, Blake had about 2 or 3 picks. I know Saban want to throw me in there, but Kiffin going back to tell Blake going back in there. Let me take these notes because when it's my time, I sure don't want Saban coming at me like that. All 3 of those guys, McCarron, McElroy, Coker, all sat down. They all had a chance to learn, crack the playbook up, open, get good in depth with the system. Jalen Hurts, that was not the case. This boy is on espionage day one. He is scouting out the competition day one. It ain't no, coach, let me get ready. No, Jalen, you already ready. Go on, Jalen, get out there. It's you or nothing. It's you or we're screwed. It's you or we are doomed. Get out there, Jalen. Coach, let me put some Vaseline on. Nope. Movie star, good looks. Beautiful, boy, beautiful. Get out there. Get out there, Jalen, get out there. It was Jalen Hurts or nothing. Alabama did not have any confidence at all. Very little to none at all. And Cooper Bateman or David Cornwell. You saw what happened when Jalen became the guy. Both of those two requested transfer waivers. And if they would have transferred when they wanted to the week of the national championship game back in January, the most logical person or the next person in line to back up Jalen Hurts was a walk-on and Josh Pele. That was the next player in line. That was the next eligible player in line. And then Blake Barnett, he left mid-season. So we don't know what could have became of him. It was Jalen Hurts or nothing. Jalen Hurts or nothing. He started 14 games a season ago, 26 games in all. And keep this in mind, this is the first true freshman last year to ever start under Nick Saban. This is the first true freshman in 33, 34 years, going back to 1984, Vince Sutton. And keep this in mind, Vince Sutton didn't even start the whole season. He played a couple of games and then was benched for Mike Shula. Jalen Hurts went the whole roll. With the whole roll. 2016, and of course this year. I don't think y'all understand how difficult that is. Jalen Hurts has to learn everything on the fly. When he throws a pick, he gets a whiplashing from Saban, and then Jalen goes, okay, assess. Okay, I can't throw a pick because that makes Saban mad, so the next time I'm out here, I can't throw a pick. Gotta be cautious, gotta be prepared, gotta be ready, gotta be smarter. And he's doing all of this in his head while he knows he has to go right back out there. A.J. McCarron didn't have to go right back out there. Greg McElroy didn't have to go right back out there. Jacob Coker didn't have to go right back out there. Why? Because in year one, they were not the guy. They had a chance to sit down, mentally process, mentally get through the information. And then on top of that, I mean, I have to think that those guys had that big boom of an improvement. It was not a big boom. They did the little things. Greg McElroy, the 2010 BCS title game off the 09 season, I don't think people remember this. Greg McElroy had a horrendous completion percentage against Texas in that title game. Greg McElroy, I don't even think he completed he had less than 70 passing yards, y'all. He had less than 70 passing yards in his first title game. I mean, at least with Jalen Hurts in his first title game, he had over 100 yards passing. Greg McElroy had less than 70. If it wasn't for Alabama's rushing attack with Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, and a strip sack from Eric Anders of Texas backup quarterback Garrett Gilbert, who knows what could have happened. Texas had cut the lead to 24-21, and them horns were clicking. Them Longhorns were in the game. They were dripping sauce, and we couldn't handle it. If it wasn't for the defense for Alabama and the run game, who knows what could have happened. Greg McElroy, small improvements. A little bit tighter here. Better read there. A better decision made there. Tighter spiral here. The little things. A.J. McCarron, 2011, first year starting. Game manager. 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. Second year as a starter, 2012, where he was given a little bit more of the offense. Better read here. Tighter spiral here. Look off that defensive back there. The little things. Wasn't no big boom, and little things. Little things. Same for Jake Coker. Little things. 2014, I remember when Coker came in, I covered him, couldn't throw a slant, couldn't throw a screen, couldn't complete a post. Took 9 seconds for him to release the football. 9 seconds. But the little things. Got benched for Cooper Bateman in the game against Ole Miss in 2015. That has to wake him up. It took him getting benched for him to wake up. Then he goes out there, has a pretty good showing, and despite the loss, you finally start to see Coker wake up after not beating out Jameis Winston at Florida State. It took him 5 years, 2 different teams, 2 different coaches, 2 different systems to finally learn what he is and who he is as a player. Took him 5 years. Took him 5 years, and then takes him getting benched for Cooper Bateman to be the icing on the cake. Then he starts running guys over. Then he starts developing the confidence. Then he starts getting that deep ball together. The little things. Same with Jalen Hurts. It's the little things, y'all. It's no big boom improvement. The little things. Tighter read here. Looking off that safety there. Reading that linebacker there. Little things. Building that confidence. Coker did that in 2015, and after doing the little things, then he was able in the college football playoff to really show off. 25 of 30 for 286 yards, 2 touchdowns against Michigan State. A 300-yard passing performance with 2 touchdowns against Clemson. The little things birthed in to Coker doing what he did. The little things birthed in to A.J. McCarron, birthed in to Greg McElroy doing what he did. Those guys had a year or more to actually sit down and learn what they were supposed to do. Jalen didn't have that luxury. It was now or nothing for now or nothing for Jalen Hurts. But now he's got this opportunity, second time around in the college football playoff. He knows what to do. And if it took Jake Coker 5 years to figure it out, and you still win a national championship with that, then Jalen Hurts, second year, confident, the screensaver on this man's phone is Clemson winning the championship a year ago. He is not going to let another opportunity slip through his fingers. He's ready, very, very confident. This guy knows he can get it done, and his teammates believe in him. I remember last year at the college football playoff semifinal, Peach Bowl against Washington, I got a chance to talk to Deontay Thompson, defensive back, and linebacker Jamie Mosley, and they both said this guy's a leader, growing up before our eyes, running the team. Deontay Thompson said, man, Jalen Hurts, Texas boy. This is what Texas boys do. They show up in big moments. They come ready to ball. They're ready to perform. They know what they're up against, and they handle the situation. That's what Deontay Thompson told me. So Jalen Hurts has got the opportunity, and I 100% believe he's going to be able to not only make the most out of it, but get this team to a championship. So going back over these 3 reasons. Number 1, experience. Second time around, Jalen Hurts, the most experienced quarterback in the college football playoff. Number 2, Brian Dable, Brent Key. Offensive line coach, offensive coordinator will make sure Jalen Hurts, best position possible to attack. Number 3, timing is everything. Everything happens in its own timing. Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron, Jacob Coker had their time, waited, was able to get something done. Jalen Hurts thrown out there year 1, but he's made the most out of it, and he's back in the big dance again and has the opportunity to this time get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, we take another break here on In My Own Words, the podcast, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, and brought to you by Bama Sports Radio. Upon our return, we officially get into the pass rushers. Top 4 pass rushers going into this playoff venue. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.